Hi guys, welcome back to the next episode of Call of Cthulhu. Before we get started, I want to say that I had to restart the game because I lost a save for an episode that I had already recorded, and I can't replay that section without replaying the whole game, which is what I started doing. Except when I got to the asylum, it did not give me the option to pick up the badge in the room with the electric chair. So, and because that, missing out on that item affects the rest of the playthrough, because it will become pertinent in the next upcoming section. So what I've chosen to do is scrap all the saves that I've already done and start recording from here. I'm really sorry about that. Had not planned on doing it. I had all the others uploaded and saved to YouTube, and they just needed to be posted, but that one I hadn't had a chance to do, and it inadvertently got lost. So full disclosure, I want to let you guys know that I've had to start over again, and there is a few things that have been affected, one being the badge, and number two, I was actually able to pick up the shoe that I missed on the reconstruction at the Hawkins Manor. My good friend Shell said something about missing a bottle in the last episode in the pharmacy, and I did pick that up on the way through, as well as a medical journal that was on the desk that we missed. And we've tripped all the breakers, so we can either end the quest that way, which is how I'm going to do it, or I actually found the second cog that I needed for the boiler. And because I didn't do that the last time, I'm just left it there, and we're going to continue on with the electric diversion. And I thought we had missed out on a reconstruction when I walked in this room, and it actually wasn't that. It was a hit to our sanity. So, with all that being said, let's get our episode started. Now, what we need to do is make our way out of here, and the guy that was here has gone home, so we can safely go this way. I heard him tell the gentleman that we gave the sleeping pills to that he was going home for the night because his shift was over. So, and he still hasn't taken them. And we should be good to go here. And we should be good. And hopefully I got them all.
That should draw the attention of the guards. I should hide.
Yeah, we're gonna hide right off the bat. And make a nice little detour that way. We need to go over here. Make sure he goes around the other corner. Yes, he does. That was a close call. And hopefully we only drew the attention of the two guards at the desk. We are going to sneak around this way and finally make our way out of this place. Whoop, not what I meant to do. There we go. Hopefully the doctor's gone. Did you guys see that out of the corner on the right side?
Is that you?
Don't you worry about the doctor. Right now, he'll have plenty to keep him busy with his precious machine. It gives us time to get away. I'll undo you.
Get away? Get away where? I can't go anywhere. It'll find me, like it found me here. You're mistaken about the beast. Don't stay with me, or you'll end up the same way.
And we don't have enough for that.
You're Sanders, aren't you? I heard you from my cell. What did they do to you? What does Fuller want with you?
The doctor? You think it's the doctor who scares me? The doctor wants to heal me. But he's the one who's crazy. He wants to restore my sight. He wants to give me back my eyes. And yet I told him that I didn't want him. I do not want to see it anymore. The real culprit is Sarah. Her and her accursed paintings.
You're kidding me. You're talking about Sarah Hawkins.
The one and only. The legendary. There is no artist more enlightened or cursed than Sarah Hawkins.
In her office, I saw signs of a ritual, perhaps an invocation. These things, that's what makes you say she's cursed.
You're wrong. It was not an invocation, but a revocation. But she failed. And that's what counts.
What's going on this island?
I'm so sorry. We should never have met.
What are you talking about?
Destiny! It has trapped you. No, don't let it see you, or you won't be able to escape it. Don't look at it. That's how it finds you.
What finds me?
Sarah Hawkins' visitor. The Chandler.
Sanders, pull yourself together.
Without her, it's no longer possible to save me.
No! Sanders! What the hell? I gotta... Okay. This is insane. What killed him?
If I remember correctly, wasn't Sanders the name in the book in Sarah's office that she gave the painting to for free? It's been a while since I put that episode up. I'm pretty sure that was the name, though. Crazy. Where we need to go. Here? Come on, dude. You can do it. And
Damn.
I'm not.
The gas! Oh. My head.
Later. We need to move on.
It looks like we're going back to the Hawkins mansion.
Who goes there? That nightmare again. I need a drink.
No, you don't. Trying to get their dialogue before we went running down here. Let me see if we can assign some points real quick. I want to put them in the hiding spot so we can make sure we don't miss any more of the hidden spots. As you can see, I have the investigation maxed back out. And I'm pretty sure this is where we were at. But like I said, I did not remember which way I had assigned the points and went with, other than I knew I had maxed this out. Let's go see what's going on with these two.
You're awake, Mr. Pierce. How do you feel?
Did I sleep long?
The day is only starting. It's fine.
How's our fugitive? Dr. Fuller hasn't reported your disappearance to the force, but that'll come soon.
Bradley?
Who else would it be?
Mr. Pierce, are you all right? You look like you saw a ghost.
There are things I can't explain.
Tell us. What happened?
What I'm sure of now is that the Hawkins case isn't just an accident.
And what brings you to that conclusion?
The fact that Charles Hawkins survived the fire.
I don't understand. Mr. Hawkins was buried.
That's what he would have you believe.
I have a hard time believing you.
You were there, Bradley. You even opened fire on him.
I'd remember that.
Why would he fake his own death? Do you think he covered up his wife's murder?
That's possible.
Seems hard to swallow. Don't you have anything more concrete, Pierce?
Yeah, we can't do that. Let's see if we can do this.
I heard you talking earlier.
Why am I not surprised?
I get the impression you two don't get along.
Intrusive and not very clever. Anyway, let's get back to the business at hand.
Bradley, what do you remember?
I don't understand your question.
The night we went into the Hawkins mansion. You don't seem to remember the tunnels and what occurred there.
No memory of going down any tunnel. No, we were in the manor, then,
Then what?
The rest is quite blurry. I don't recall how I came back home.
And then?
I went to visit you at the hospital. And called on Marie's help to get you released.
And you don't remember the events of the tunnel?
I don't. Let's talk about something else.
And this is where the badge would have come in and has affected our story. Because I should have been able to show the badge as proof. Alright. And I still can't do that.
Given the energy he pours into Riverside, I presume it was Fuller's creation.
His father's, to be correct. He was a surgeon on board the Scylla. He founded the hospital in 1904 with funds from the Hawkins family before he died and his son Thomas Fuller took over.
Two families inextricably linked.
Most island families are that way. Captain Fitzroy's father was also a seaman aboard the Scylla.
Powerful families dominating everything.
Yes, and as you could tell, Dr. Fuller is like some crazed emperor.
He wouldn't be happy if he knew we were snooping around.
I know the risks. I don't fear him. Do you wish to know anything else?
Yeah.
I found a file bearing Sarah Hawkins' name in the Institute's basement.
It makes sense. A powerful family like the Hawkins had the means to hide such a disgrace.
But everyone knows the Fullers have been taking care of the Hawkins for at least a generation. And all were aware of Mrs. Hawkins' fragility.
Perhaps, but no one would allow a psychiatric internment.
From what I read in the file, Fuller used her as a subject of his experiments.
Francis Sanders and Sarah Hawkins, subjects of Dr. Fuller. Why those two?
I don't know.
Dr. Fuller seems to be leaving a trail of corpses. Not to mention those strange machines, chains, and tools of all kind.
Yes. I've been telling you that Fuller uses his patients as guinea pigs.
What I saw was more akin to torture than medicine.
Do you even hear what you're saying? Dr. Fuller is highly respected.
It's the truth, Ethan. And I'll prove it to you. I'm listening, Mr. Pierce.
Let's try.
I have flashbacks. They haunt me.
What did they do to you?
There was that Dr. Fuller, and a nurse. Blood everywhere. My legs, the pain, I couldn't bear it. I was screaming. They injected me with something. I woke up at the Institute. Bradley was there.
And how you scared us. You seemed demented.
You likely woke up during the anesthesia. No wonder those memories haunt you. What in God's name were they doing to you?
Good question.
What happened afterwards?
When I woke up the second time, I was in a padded cell. That's where you found me, Doctor. After you released me, I got a good look at what's in store for the patients of the Riverside Institute. Hallucinogenic gas pumped into the cells. An infernal machine. Horrific medical experiments.
Impossible. Dr. Fuller would never do such a thing.
You should believe it, Ethan. What Mr. Pierce saw is precisely what I've been trying to prove. Did you discover anything else?
I met a Francis Sanders. Do you know him?
Of course, he's a patient. Or was. I haven't seen him since Dr. Fuller had him transferred to the basement.
He knew Sarah Hawkins, and that's what killed him.
What? How did he die?
I'm not sure I can explain it.
Tell me how Mr. Sanders died.
Excuse me.
I didn't see what, but something was there with us.
Of what do you speak?
Sanders said it was Sarah Hawkins' visitor. He spoke of it like a living being.
Sarah Hawkins? Have I missed something here? This makes no sense. I don't see how it can help crack the Hawkins case.
You really think she's involved? How could she have murdered Mr. Sanders?
Francis Sanders mentioned Mrs. Hawkins just before dying. It's no coincidence.
You know, Francis Sanders was a well-known art collector. I guess you can still pay a visit to his wife, Irene Sanders.
An art collector, you say? That's probably how they met.
If you plan on having dinner at the Sanders household, please spare the widow the tale of her late husband's suffering.
I don't agree. She deserves the truth.
But that truth may be biased. We don't know the bottom of it.
I believe we're going to let's stay prudent.
You're right. Without a plausible explanation for what I saw, let's not jump to conclusions.
That seems wise indeed.
Very well. I'll go to see Francis's widow. Perhaps I'll find a link between her husband's death and Sarah Hawkins.
Don't end up in the hospital this time.
I'll do my best.
I hope not. Okay. As you can see, some of our responses do affect our destiny, so we need to get out of here. And I don't think they can...
The other night's events are still confused in my head.
Let us go now and learn the truth about what's happening on this island.
Okay. And we are not drinking, so... We'll move on to the Sanders residence.
What can I do for you, sir?
Mrs. Sanders, I'm a private detective. We must talk about your husband and his ties to Sarah Hawkins. Can I come in?
You may. However, before we go any further, please know that my husband died yesterday.
That is precisely what brings me here.
Well, well.
What
Look
is
who's
she doing
here. You know each other.
Our paths crossed, briefly. The brave detective has a talent for sticking his nose into my business.
I bump into her every time I'm investigating someone's death.
It's a small island, detective. My island. It's better that it's you bumping into me.
You're investigating Francis' death. Why? Who hired you?
I spoke to Francis before he died. His story suggests a link to a case I'm working on.
Well, since this business has got nothing to do with me, I'll be in your husband's office, Irene. We'll carry on later.
Very well, Miss Baker. This way, Mr. Pierce. And do make yourself comfortable. It would seem that you have much to tell me. May I inquire as to when you had the opportunity to talk to my husband?
Yesterday, I met him at the hospital. He spoke to me about Sarah Hawkins.
Oh, of course he spoke to you about her. That's all he talked about. Sarah Hawkins and her paintings. Please forgive my tone. The fact is that I have not been allowed to see him since he was interned. You, on the other hand, a perfect stranger, were able to see him and even talk with him the day he died. How was he? Were you present when he had this attack? What happened?
We're gonna go with, you must not...
What happened to your husband is terrible, Mrs. Sanders. But from what I saw, it was inevitable. The man I met yesterday had lost his reason. He suffers no longer, if you would allow me such a platitude.
Of course. Thank you for your kind words. Nobody in that hospital would have deigned to speak them to me. However, it will require more than that to soothe my mind. I need to understand. How could this happen? In a reputed institute? And right before your eyes? Did you not do anything to help him?
We're gonna go with the speech check.
It's terrible what happened to your husband, but I had nothing to do with it. I was injured, and I came across him in the hospital quite by chance.
Injured? Well, I'm delighted to see you in such fine fettle, Detective. Not everybody enjoyed such a prompt recovery.
I suppose Fuller does do miracles now and again.
Luck is obviously very kind to you. Oh, I'm tired, Mr. Pierce. I would be grateful if you could tell me what you expect of me, and then leave.
Yeah, let's ask her question.
How did you come to meet Sarah Hawkins?
We were the wealthiest and most influential families on Darkwater. Of course we would know each other. And when Charles returned from Europe with his sweet little artist, she and her sinister paintings were destined to catch my husband's eye. He bought many of her works over the last 5 years. They adorn his macabre gallery.
May I ask you what Miss Baker is doing here? How do you know her?
My business with Miss Baker is private, Mr. Pierce.
But you do know what kind of business Miss Baker is in, don't you?
I am no fool. Please believe that much, at least.
Did your husband talk to you about Sarah Hawkins' visitor? A shambler, to use his precise terms.
Well, you can imagine that's all he talked about. It's exhibited at the center of the gallery. No better place for the painting that endowed him with the privilege of such a shameful and miserable end to his life.
Hold on. The Shambler is a painting by Sarah Hawkins.
Who else to paint such horrors? Take a look for yourself, if you feel so inclined.
It is my only lead at this stage. I suppose I have nothing to lose.
Then you have paid no heed. For my part, I refuse to set foot in that gallery again. But if you're so eager to see it...
Thank you, Mrs. Sanders. I won't be long.
Okay. I think we'll go ahead and continue for a little bit longer. Or... yeah, let's go ahead and continue. The second volume in the series covers everything from gas gangrene to trench nephritis. In addition to a precise and detailed study, the book presents some avant-garde theories. The incredible complexity of this book reserves it for medical experts. Piano.
Did she really care for him, after all?
I acknowledge receipt of the letter in which you demand the body of your deceased husband. I am sorry to inform you that I cannot agree to return his body to you. At the moment of his interment, you signed a discharge allowing me to dispose of his body as I see fit. I extend my deepest condolences to you, Thomas Fuller. If he just died yesterday, how did she get the letter so fast, unless it was hand-delivered? Seems a little quick.
The day the Shambler came into the Sanders' lives.
Good Lord, that's creepy. Nothing on the back.
A house of artists. Francis Sanders and Sarah Hawkins were close. Friends, even? Sanders' accession register. He wrote beside the Shambler, "Finally." What did Sarah Hawkins fear so much that she didn't want to sell the painting?
Oh, here we go.
He finally won. Was Sanders aware of his imminent doom? She first refused to sell the painting. How did that make her feel? She despises Sarah Hawkins, but it's the painting she truly hates. Why? The Shambler. I need to see it.
Okay. Let's take a quick look out here. That's kind of neat. See if we can go in any other rooms or if there's anything else. No. Nothing here. Some weird artwork. Weird.
Let's see what this cylinder has to say once it's inserted in a phonograph.
Irene, I made a mistake. I fear that it might be too late for me. Nobody should enter, except to burn everything. I never had the courage. Pay somebody to do it. He's inside my head. I see him behind my eyelids each time I shut my eyes. I can't take any more. I can't hold him back. Forgive me.
That accursed gallery. Those accursed paintings. That accursed Sarah.
Ma, she really didn't like her. And we can't talk to her again. Alright, let's see if we can go in here. No? Are those skulls? Yeah, they are. Weird. Oh. And she's in here. Let's see if there's anything here that we can look at.
I could use one of those.
And more sleeping pills.
Strange. For months, Sarah Hawkins refused to part with her painting, to finally give it away for nothing.
I beg you to give up all hope of ever owning this accursed painting. If our friendship has any meaning to you, please spare me the weight of guilt. I cannot be the architect of your fall. I beg you, my dear friend, forget the Shambler, your friend, Sarah Hawkins. I wonder what he did or said or what happened that made her change her mind. The Whale and the Cod, or A Brief History of Dark Water. It is focused on the past glory of the island. Ooh, what do we have here?
A strange Amerindian pendant.
An ancient amulet, probably Amerindian. I wonder what its purpose could be. Kind of neat looking. Anything here? Oh, what do we have here?
Another volume of the Reverend's wife's diary.
Part 3. This volume spends some time on Reverend Wickwood's community. His wife expresses her worries about the strange dream that the Reverend's congregation are having since their arrival on the island. Some members of the community, her husband included, began to speak of their vision as a messenger sent by God. She is scared that they will suffer the same fate as the lost tribe. And we'll give it a try. Ooh, we did it. I didn't think we would. To the gallery. I don't know what would have happened if we hadn't been able to get that. In this work of a student in book form, although the observations are relevant, they lack the expertise of an experienced physician. However, the questions asked allow us to imagine new ways of exploring human anatomy. Okay, And we have her left to talk to. Let's see if we have any points real quick. We do. And again, in there. Okay. And let me talk to her real
That's
quick.
twice you've stepped on my toes, Detective. Try not to make a habit of it.
I've got a lot of bad habits.
Some can be more fatal than others. What have you come looking for in this gallery?
Yep.
I have a well-off client in Boston who heard about the death of Francis Sanders and wanted me to size up his estate before making an offer to his widow.
Nice story. Bad lie. Learn how to dupe, Detective. But as long as you keep out of my way, you're free to carry on with your visit.
There's more than that, Miss Baker.
So people have been talking behind my back. I was almost beginning to like you, Mr. Pierce.
I doubt it.
But it stays cat for you.
You knew the Sanders?
Irene is a friend of mine.
Yeah, what are you doing?
And you? What brings you to the Sanders home?
I'm here on business. Irene asked me to liquidate all these paintings. She doesn't intend to hang around here for long.
Why you?
Believe it or not, there aren't many collectors on Darkwater. It needs someone with a network, and a means of transport to the mainland. A choice that comes down to Fitzroy and me. And I'm far more pleasant, wouldn't you say?
Not by much. Alright, let's check out the fancy book. Would you read the book? No. I don't think we're going to read the book. Yeah, no. Let's not read the book. And I think we are going to leave it here and pick up here in the next episode. Thank you for joining me. I'm Vault Girl, and I hope to see you in the next one.